Hello, mind wanderers. Welcome back to a new exploration into the depths of the psyche. This video is inspired by Erich Fromm's ideas, paraphrased for clarity. How modern freedom became a trap, Fromm's warning for our time. What if freedom, the very thing we strive for, is also what makes us feel so lost? We wake up each day with more choices than any generation before us. Where to live, what to believe, who to be. We explore infinite options, craft identities, abandon them, pick new ones. We are free. And yet, anxiety surges. Loneliness lingers. A quiet sense of dread follows us. This is the paradox. The modern world gave us freedom, but it also took away the structures that made us feel rooted. We didn't always live like this. In the medieval world, identity was inherited. You were born into a role, a belief system, a community. You knew your place. It was rigid, yes, but it was secure. Freedom then wasn't even a question. You couldn't choose your faith, your job, or your truth. But you also didn't have to. Then came the break. With the Reformation and the Enlightenment, individuals began to emerge from collective identities. The chains fell away, and with them, the comfort they provided. Suddenly, people were free to think, believe, and act on their own. For the first time, they stood alone. And with that came something new, existential anxiety. Because freedom isn't just liberation. It's also a burden. To be free is to be responsible. It means making choices and carrying their consequences. And when the internal structure isn't strong enough, when there's no deep sense of self, that freedom becomes terrifying. So we escape, not by going back, but by finding new ways to avoid the burden of being truly free. And this happens in three main ways. The first is authoritarianism, submitting to something or someone stronger. It could be a leader, a system, a doctrine. The external power provides safety. You give up freedom for certainty. Some submit. Others try to become the authority, dominating instead of obeying. Both are two sides of the same coin, a flight from freedom. The second escape is destructiveness. If the world feels threatening, you break it. If others feel free and you don't, you pull them down. This isn't always explosive. It can be subtle, internal, masked as cynicism or numbness. It's the urge to erase what we can't control. The third is the most insidious, automaton conformity, molding yourself so perfectly to the world around you that your own self disappears. You adopt the language, values, and desires expected of you and forget they were ever foreign. You feel secure, accepted, but you are no longer truly you. And this is the great danger. Even in a society that celebrates freedom, these escape mechanisms thrive. They become invisible, normalized, sometimes even rewarded. We think we're free because we choose what to wear, what to watch, which side to support. But if those choices are driven by fear, by pressure, by the need to belong or to silence uncertainty, is it really freedom? Genuine freedom doesn't mean having no constraints. It means being able to choose who you are from within. It means acting from your deepest convictions, not from fear or imitation. That kind of freedom requires qualities like strength, inner clarity, and the capacity to be alone without being lost. And that is rare, because it's much easier to follow, to merge, to obey. The modern trap is subtle. We believe we've escaped old authorities, but many have simply traded them for new ones, more diffuse, more psychological, but no less powerful. So how do we resist this quiet submission? Not by rejecting freedom, but by learning to bear it. That means cultivating what is often forgotten in discussions about liberty, a self that can stand on its own, a self that creates, that loves, that commits to something bigger, not because it's commanded, but because it's chosen. We need freedom to live, not just freedom from constraint. The modern age liberated the individual, but it also isolated them. And unless that isolation is answered with genuine connection, creative engagement, and inner grounding, freedom can feel like exile. You can obey a tyrant and lose your freedom. But you can also obey invisible forces like social expectations and internalized fears and anxieties, and still lose it. And the danger is not that we will be forced into submission by some external power. The danger is that we will choose it, because we never learned how to carry the weight of being free. The task, then, is to become free in the deeper sense, to be an individual not cut off from others, but rooted enough to choose, to relate, to live fully. That kind of freedom isn't given. It's grown. This inner strength begins with awareness. Recognizing the social, economic, and emotional forces that push us toward conformity. Naming the fears that tempt us to escape. Noticing when our choices are no longer truly ours. But awareness is only the beginning. The next step is action. Creating space in our lives for reflection. Building relationships where authenticity is valued more than approval. Daring to say no. Not out of rebellion, but out of self-respect. It also means questioning the cultural narratives we inherit. The idea that success is measured by status, that consumption brings happiness, that independence means never needing anyone. These myths don't set us free. They distract us from freedom. True individuality isn't isolation. It's differentiation. The ability to be distinct, yet connected. To live in society, but not be dissolved in it. Love, properly understood, is one of the greatest antidotes to the fear of freedom, because real love requires two strong selves. It is not fusion. It's union with integrity. When we love maturely, we don't escape the self. We affirm it and make room for another person. Commitment to values, to causes, to people, grounds us, not as an escape from choice, but as an expression of it. To choose responsibility, not out of fear, but in pursuit of meaning, is a radical act of freedom. The creative act is another path. Whether through art, work, or ideas, creation allows us to express who we are in a way that connects us to the world. It gives form to freedom. We often think of freedom as breaking chains. But perhaps the deeper challenge is learning what to do once the chains are gone. The tragedy of modern life is not that we are excessively free, but that we don't know what our freedom is for. So we must ask ourselves, are we truly free or just free to follow? Because if we never learn to bear the weight of our own freedom, someone or something will always be ready to carry it for us. But that would not be freedom. It would be surrender. This work is not easy, yet it is necessary. To live with freedom, not as a burden, but as a vocation. To be ourselves, not as an escape, but as an authentic engagement with the present. This is the path forward, and it starts within.